Good morning and welcome to Smell the Coffee. Now, I am not in my usual mood today because, as we all know, that this weekend is a very heavy weekend for Namibians and everyone who has been severely impacted by the death of His Excellency Dr. Hage G. Geingob. But nevertheless, we will do our best to keep you entertained because Smell the Coffee is that show where we take away from the heaviness of the world just to give you some light-hearted news, get you a laugh, even if it's just for 30 minutes in the day, just to distract you a little bit.
Absolutely. And as usual, when I do Smell the Coffee with Diana, I don't know what the stories are. So I'm just like you, and I'm going to be just reacting as it goes. And of course, you know, still in remembrance of Dr. Hage G. Geingob, there is going to be a procession later today. And at the end of Smell the Coffee, we'll show you the map of that procession so you can also pay your last respects. But for now, we swing over to the top stories.
We do, but before we get into that, there's a tweet that you sent yesterday, or rather a screenshot. And, you know, let's just get into
Let's
that.
talk about it. Yeah, it was very interesting. So it was a lady who was grateful for a man who had brought peace into her life, you know, who had been supporting her. And she really appreciated, even though she thought he was lying, but she realized she appreciated him. And then the other lady, I think she responded like, what's stopping you?
No, she said, now the lady that was talking about how this guy's treating her nice, she said, what, I just wish he was all mine.
Yes, all mine. Yes. And then the other lady said, oh, he's not yours. And then she said, no, he's with the owner.
I'm sharing him with the owner.
Sharing him with the owner.
Yes.
Yeah, it's a very elaborate way of stepping out of your relationship that someone can feel like that.
I'm just sharing him with the owner.
Yeah.
I mean, sharing is caring.
Oh.
If we look at it, would I ever accept a second wife or like another girlfriend, you having another girlfriend? I can't. But I'm just saying, statistically speaking, right, there are more women than men in the world.
This is the argument for polygamy. Let's go.
And I know it is. Like, I'm justifying for everyone else, not for me.
Oh, okay.
Don't come with this argument
100%.
to me because I will stab you with a plastic fork. So, yeah, man, statistically speaking, more women than men. And then still, with that male population, how many of them are not attracted to women? How many of them are in prison? How many of, like...
A lot?
A lot, right?
So the numbers is just balancing out. I'm going to tell you something. If you're trying to balance out the numbers by being an extra in a marriage, you might be the subtraction. True. You might get subtracted depending on how someone reacts. But it is a little jarring to see how at peace people are. Certain people have just decided, you know, in fact, in Zimbabwe, there's a term for it. It's called a small house. Which is not a person, it's a person whose entire life is sponsored by this person.
Yes.
And they're essentially a small house. But
they're the mini house.
Yeah.
So you have the main house, and then you have the small house.
Yes, yeah. I mean, I would just like to categorically state that I am not part of any of these groups. This is just...
She liked it, so she put a ring on it.
Yeah, I gotta just gotta be clear on that one.
Yeah, because I know your wife.
Yes, you know what it is.
And
no,
I will be taking her side, regardless.
She's a divorce lawyer. You can't divorce someone who's good at it.
Exactly. Her whole career is that. But yeah, man, it is what it is. What are your thoughts? Like, I'm not one of those women that is comfortable sharing. I don't like sharing, be it food, be it clothes, be it my man.
Even
I don't like
hugs.
sharing. I do not like sharing. So I will not be making any exceptions. Yes. And like you're saying, it's weird how people have actually
Normalized it.
yeah, they've normalized it.
For sure.
They're content with it. It's just
Yeah.
like, yeah, no, it's not my responsibility to make sure he's not cheating on
That
his
is
wife.
not
Doesn't
how
he
karma
know?
works. Not
I
how
keep
karma
saying
works.
the same thing.
At
I keep
all.
saying, like,
Yeah.
someone argued and said no, but karma, I don't think karma exists because it's just like with life, there's, yin yang.
Yeah.
There's the good and the bad and the bad and the good.
Yeah.
I'm like, no.
No,
So
no,
she was
no.
saying bad things will happen regardless. I'm like, no.
You don't have to believe. You don't have to believe in karma. In science, it's called the law of cause and effect, which means if there's a cause, there's an effect.
Yes.
100% guaranteed. Now, it may not take up the exact form but you're gonna feel like perhaps you could have done things better. Just putting it out there. Putting
So
it out
as
there.
for me, no, I'm not going to be involved. I will not dabble in those things. But we will now be taking a quick ad break and returning with our top stories. When I have to do Smell the Coffee with Ashwin, I almost dread some of the stories because I never know what you're going to say.
And neither do I. And to be honest, that scares me also.
It terrifies the living things out of me, okay? But anyway, so a priest arrested for operating illegal Viagra trafficking operation from his home. A Spanish priest has been arrested on suspicion of illegally selling Viagra from his home. The cleric was held in the town of Don Benito in the western province of Badajoz near Spain's border with Portugal. Police arrested the suspect in a rectory where he lived with a man described as his partner, who was also detained after police carried out a search of the property. The pair went to court on Tuesday and were quizzed by an investigating magistrate for more than 4 hours. The priest, named locally as Alfonso Raul Masasoto, was released on bail and has been ordered to sign on at a local court every fortnight. Meanwhile, his unidentified partner was jailed pending an ongoing criminal investigation. The arrest occurred on Monday after a weeks-long civil guard investigation. Viagra is said to have been found inside the rectory as well as other drugs described as powerful aphrodisiacs. Yeah.
I do not know where to start.
I thought so.
Because, okay. So it's a priest, which means aside from the laws of man, he answers to the laws of God,
Lord, yes.
or the church. They say the
Okay,
church,
yeah.
the interpretation of God. So why does he have a partner? Don't get me wrong, because I know that the Pope did say that Catholic priests should be allowed to marry other people, not for them to get married, but they're allowed to marry people of the queer community, to allow them to get married. So my point is, at the very least, I'd expect the priest to be married.
Yeah.
If is allowed to do that at all. But generally, Catholic priests, that's not on the table.
Yeah.
I don't know why they're selling that drug. I really don't know, how.
In this economy, Ashley,
Yeah,
you
but
gotta do what you gotta do.
No, but what's happening? The sermons, nothing's clicking. While you're doing those sermons and you're talking how are those two worlds even attached to each other in the smallest of ways?
As much as the Lord provides, He's not providing for the financial needs of this
No,
man. So
that-
he's like, I'm going to take matters into my own hands.
No. The Lord provides what you need. You're going for extra things. It's up to you.
Okay.
Uh-huh.
He's providing the things that you need. So the Lord put Viagra.
No, absolutely
in
not.
his
No, it did not. He went and
periphery.
he searched for it. That's exactly how sin works, in my opinion. You go and you look for the nonsense, and
then you justify it
Yeah,
somehow.
because even if he was a civilian, this would be bad. Do you get my point? If it was just a regular civilian, but this is a priest who is seen as a moral guide. You know what I mean? So it's always so creepy, particularly creepy to me when priests are doing. You know what? You be the angel. No, because let's group them all together. The priests and the false prophets. Let's just everybody. Just one WhatsApp group.
Yeah.
You be the angel was seen on TV during the Al Jazeera thing, doing an illegal deal, doing an illegal to people who he knew perceived as criminals, who had shown themselves as criminals. Until today, he still fills up churches with. So I'm very worried about this conflation of the chasing of wealth with regards to religion, because Jesus wasn't showy, you know what I mean? I'm sure he could have rode into Jerusalem on a chariot.
Exactly,
but he was on a donkey. He was on a donkey. He wore sandals. And
he had 12 followers. As a man, why do you have more than 1,000 followers?
Okay, that's a different story.
No, it's not.
Because I'm a public figure. I don't know how I'm supposed to make money.
No.
If 1,000 followers doesn't work like that. So you think men should only have 12 followers?
No, less than.
Less than on Instagram.
If Jesus, the Son of God, had 12 followers.
Wow. But yeah, but you know, it is worrying, right? Because I mean, you look at religion, any religion to me is very peaceful. Every religion that I've encountered, from Christianity to Islam, they're peaceful religions. The interpretations thereafter are something else. And I do think it's because of these interpretations that, you know, people are starting to get to the point where they don't only cross religious laws, they're crossing like national laws, international laws. And perhaps the people who are part of these parishes who are part of these parishes, you know, should go through a deeper vetting process of the people who are given that position, because clearly not all of them are using that power for good.
Exactly. I mean, with power comes great responsibility.
Absolutely.
And it's just a shame that these are people that, you know, other people look up to.
Yes.
People rely on them.
Yes.
But then they're taking advantage of that. Like you're saying with the Hubert Angel thing. It was like, what?
He's not the only one. I mean, who's the one who's wanted in South Africa? The Malawian guy. The short guy. We're forgetting about him, but he's also one of the prophets who had to literally escape from South Africa in order to go back to Malawi. And so I think, you know, some of these things as human beings, just like look a little deeper into it. And I really feel like human beings, we know more about ourselves than other people will tell us. We just don't trust that inner voice.
Exactly.
For the most part, you know how to conduct yourself spiritually, especially, I think.
Now, in the next story, teacher suspended after husband exposes affair with 16-year-old student. In the space of just 19 hours, the hashtag for the story topped Weibo's trending list and has attracted 2.5 billion views and nearly 5 million shares by February 19th. On February 16th, a man surnamed Wu, who said he was the husband of the teacher called Zhang Yu, who is believed to be in her 30s, posted WeChat records of her flirting with her 16-year-old student. According to screenshots circulating on social media, Wu revealed that his wife, a chemistry teacher and first-year form tutor at the Shanghai No. 2 secondary school, was having sex with her 16-year-old student. The husband claimed that in the chat records between Zhang and the teenage boy, they allegedly discussed where they could date secretly and the possibility of getting a hotel room. The teacher also called the boy by his name in the messages, vowing to control herself until he becomes an adult and instructing him to delete their chat records to prevent anyone from finding out about their relationship. On February 19th, the school announced it had suspended the teacher immediately and was investigating the case. A lawyer at Jiangsu FDDH law firm Lan Tianbin told media outlet Modern Express that the teacher had not broken the law if the student was over 16 years old. Chinese law only bans sexual relations with minors under the age of 14. However, Lan pointed out that it was against the teacher's professional ethics to have sex with their students.
Wait a minute. Wait a whole minute. Yeah. First of all, what's Weibo?
Okay, it's your Instagram's Chinese social media.
Social media. Let's start there. I don't like the way these things are termed differently, because that is predatory behavior.
Yes.
That is a 16-year-old boy. And China can't speak to, you know, everything happening there. Lots of competent leadership, I'm sure. But 14 cannot be the age of consent. I mean, come on. You know what I mean? In general, if I like to use this as a guide. If you can't send someone to war, you feel me?
True.
Like if you wouldn't recruit someone to war, then you know what I mean? Perhaps you should be able to protect those people at a, you know, for further age. But this is,
I mean, and you know what's funny is that the most severe punishment she is facing is just dismissal from the school.
Well, there's also the international disgrace. Here we are in Namibia.
Whereas the husband is actually facing time because he disrespected the privacy and whatever.
Yeah. I mean, to a point. I do think obviously it's an issue that needs to be highlighted. It's an issue that has to be made aware. But now it's a global issue, and that's your wife.
Yeah.
So yes, but still.
Yeah,
Oh, Missy,
man.
come on, tell me something happy, Diana. I need something. There's apparently research that couples who had a really difficult time together, if they go no contact for 5 years, no contact, there's a chance that they can come back together and create a lasting relationship.
Spin the block one more time.
After 5 years. After 5 years.
After 5 years.
I think that's interesting because it allows human beings to heal.
Yes.
I think, truly and fully. But I think that's really up to the discretion of the person and how that relationship ended.
In the first
You're not supposed
place,
to come back from certain things.
Yeah, honestly speaking, again, I hate to bring this back, but there's certain things that I cannot forgive.
No.
Cheating being one of them. So if you cheat on me and then you come back 5 years later, I cannot, because it's like, if anything, I hate you even more, because it's like, why are you showing yourself in
No,
my
but now
face
they're
again?
different. But now they're in a different light and they've healed and
But you
reformed.
see,
Yeah.
Have I fully healed to be like, you know what? This person will
That's
not
the
do
other point.
this again.
Yeah.
Because if I'm not fully healed, I'm constantly going to be thinking,
What do you think about people who, after you split, will message you maybe a month, years later, maybe a year later, and they'll be like, hey, I just want to know what I did wrong. So you couldn't tell.
You couldn't tell. Really?
When we were breaking up, you weren't sure why anything. I don't like it because it feels like it puts the responsibility for their healing on you.
Yes.
It's like, no, I'm healing to forgive you. Forgiving you is my job.
It's my job.
Figuring
Allow
out
me
what
to do my job.
Yeah.
Yes.
And figuring out what you did wrong is your job.
Most of the time, when people break up, it's not like they just stop talking. It's okay, we've tried and tried and tried. Like, we've had this conversation 300,000 times. Actually, I don't like how you do this. Diana, I don't like how you do this. But then somewhere along the way, we are not.
It's not working.
It's not working. And then eventually it's like, listen, we've tried. And then you call it quits. It's not like you just wake up one day and decide.
Yeah, that's very true. That's very true.
But anyway, we are running out of time.
Okay.
So we will now be taking a quick ad break. And when we return, we talk to one of My Zone's new interns. Stick around.
Joining us right now on Smell the Coffee is the lovely Patricia Couture. She is a My Zone intern right here at Namibia Media Holding. How you doing, girl?
I'm good. It's a lovely morning and I'm excited to be here.
Yeah, definitely. Tell us a little bit about yourself.
Well, I don't like that question really, because I feel like when someone asks that, you just forget who you are.
Yeah.
I'll try my best. So yeah, as you mentioned, I started here at My Zone, I think in January. I'm also graduating this year with my degree in journalism and media technology.
Lovely.
Really excited about that. But at the same time, I'm also pursuing my honors in journalism. I have this thing where I know myself pretty well. I wanted to take a gap here, but I thought I'd get too comfortable in the working space. So I'm like, let me just get everything out of the way while I still have the time on my hands to do it.
And while you still have the energy.
Exactly.
Because, once you get comfortable, once you get used to the paycheck, you just keep postponing. Oh, I'll do it next year.
Next
Oh,
year
I'll do it
turns into
year.
next year, turns into next year. Yeah.
Right. Why did you then decide to particularly apply for this internship? You could have applied for an internship at, I don't know, FNB, maybe Erongo, a cement or somewhere, but you chose NMH particularly. Why?
Yeah, there's so many options, definitely. But the reason I went for NMH is because it's so diverse.
Yeah.
You are not limited to just one aspect of journalism. And there's so much to learn in the journalism space when it comes to presenting, producing, writing, social media content. You have a little bit of marketing here and there, you have a little bit of PR here and there. So it's quite diverse. You meet a lot of people. And NMH is just the name you hear a lot. So I was kind of curious to see what the space is like, what the people are like. Yeah, so that kind of nudged me into applying for this.
Love it. So far, so good. What are you most excited about working for NMH?
So many things. But if I have to give you a list, my strong suit is definitely writing. So I'm really excited to expand my knowledge when it comes to production.
Love.
And also presenting. I've been in in front of the camera a few times, but never as a presenter. So I'm looking forward to explore that side of my abilities and to get to know people. And the fun thing about journalism is you network a lot. So I'm excited to meet different people from different industries and maybe even different countries, you know.
Yeah.
So really excited about that.
That's amazing. Talk to us about what makes you nervous. For me, for example, every time I have to be on camera, I'm the most nervous. So what makes you nervous?
This might be a very small thing, but every time I have to do it, I like just have to, you know, center myself and I give myself a mini pep talk.
Yeah.
It's when I have to call people, like
Aw.
officials. I'm there with my phone and like the number is dialed in and I'm just staring at my phone. I'm like, Patricia, you got this.
Yeah.
You can do this. It's fine. The worst they can do is say no.
Yeah. What do I say? Do I
Exactly.
say good morning, ma'am? Do I address them by their first name, by their
Yeah.
surname? I totally get you. All right, let's talk about future plans. Where do you see yourself in the next 5 years?
Sure. Once again, another difficult question to answer. Things really change up quick.
Yeah.
But if things go according to my plans, I'd like to be an established journalist.
Love.
Now, I love what I do. I just want to use these next few years to gain confidence, you know, gain the network and just be like well established and just have that confidence in what I do, whether it's writing or producing. Because at this point, I'm not sure where I'll end up and
Yeah.
which direction I'll go into
Yeah.
because I'm exploring everything. But definitely to be that established journalist that
Yeah.
just knows what to do, when and where.
Yeah, a media personality, like
Yes,
a
exactly.
all-round media practitioner.
Yes.
If they need somebody for journalism, they'll call you PR. They'll
Yes,
call
exactly.
you everything
You
in
got it.
between. Love. Thank you so much, Patricia, for taking out some time to talk to me here on Smell the Coffee. I wish you all the best in your career and may you be that journalist.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you for having me.
You are definitely welcome. We will be right back with more Smell the Coffee. Stay with us.
Looks a little something like this. Looks a little bit like I can't miss. Hey, this is what you call a bad bit. What? This is what you call a bad bit. Looks a little something like this. Looks a little bit like I can't miss. Hey, this is what you call a bad bit. What? This is what you call a bad bit. Looks a little bit like I can't.
All right, we'll now be getting into our Talk of the Town segment, and thereafter we will be sharing with you the procession, as Ashwin mentioned earlier before.
And
Let's
the
have a look.
talk of the town is connected to giving the final condolences on the passing of Dr. Haki Geingob.
Of the distinguished and visionary leader, His Excellency Dr. Haki Geingob. Dr. Geingob devoted his entire life to the liberation of the country and the advancement and prosperity of the Namibian nation, for which we all form part of. As part of the Namibian House, we join our fellow Namibians and international friends of Namibia to pay homage to the former Namibian head of state, Dr. Geingob. When reflecting on the life and times of His Excellency, it seems unreal to this day that our president is no more. We are profoundly saddened by his passing, but little we know that the Namibian nation will experience the grief and death of our first citizen. The Livestock and Livestock Products Board extends its deepest condolences to the former First Lady, Madame Monica Geingob, the children, the family, and the Namibian people in totality on the passing of our president. We shall forever be grateful to Dr. Geingob for the leadership he provided to the nation. As we bid farewell to the late State President, we dedicate our tribute to his ability to ensure that Namibia remains a peaceful country with a stable economy and respect for human beings. Vision 2030, which he and us form part of, clearly articulates a prosperous and industrialized Namibia. developed by our human resources, enjoying peace, harmony, and political stability. And it was upheld by his office over time. As we remember his extraordinary dedication and duty, what he has done for Namibia and its people in drafting the Namibian Constitution, and we can be proud of that Namibian Constitution, which is most probably the best in the world. We ask ourselves, what have we learned from this statement, whose public service spanned over a period of approximately 60 years? We are indeed proud of what he has done. I conclude, may his legacy inspire us towards dedication in building a prosperous and inclusive Namibian nation. Director of Proceedings, let the soul of President Geingob continues to rest in eternal peace. I thank you for your kind attention.
That was Mr. Paul Strydom. Now, as we know, as we have been mentioning, Namibia and Africa at large and the world will be paying their final respects to Dr. Hage G. Geingob, the late third president of the Republic. Now, for those who will be taking part in the procession or who wish to take part of the procession, here's the map of how the procession will go. Identify those roads, see where you can be as you try to also pay your last respects. Of course, over the weekend, there will be a memorial service tomorrow, and there will be the burial on Sunday. And from the procession right up until the burial, you can catch all of this live on NTV.
Yeah, I have nothing to add to that. I think you have basically said it all. Let's just all be very respectful in, like you're saying, paying our last